Warning: the following episode of That Mental Ginger Show contains strong language and adult themes.
Alright, troops.
This episode of That Mental Ginger Show is recorded at Scuff Studios in Swanston Street, Glasgow. If you're looking to do podcasts, music, or any creative passions, these guys will have you covered. For more information, contact Scuff Studios at scuff.studios.gla@gmail.com or find them on Facebook or Instagram and drop them a message. Scuff Studios, to nurture your creative passions. Hello and welcome to That Mental Ginger Show with your host Andrew Durning, aka The Mental Ginger. Well, my three faithful followers have got a very special guest on today. They're all special in their own way, but not in that High School Musical style. It's a comedian, John Obie O'Brien. Well, John, thank you so much for coming on, man.
No worries, man.
So right, tell us, what's the Obie deal about?
Well, O'Brien, basically. So I got that. I didn't like it, right? In Scotland, you don't pick a nickname, you're given it.
Yeah.
And I think it happened when I was about 9 or 10. This sounds like it happened when I was 9 or 10.
Can we cut the lights so we can cover his face? Get a voice changer.
And I think Star Wars was on. And because I'm O'Brien, the O'Brien bit, I came in after Star Wars was on the telly for the first time, I think, and people just decided I was Obie because of the O'Brien bit, and I hated it for years.
Yeah.
And when you're given a nickname, you just eventually go, fuck it, that's my name now.
Aye, definitely.
And nobody really knows John O'Brien.
Yeah, well, they're about to find out about John O'Brien because one of the things that I like to get the guests to do is to tell us their origin story. Because if there's one thing we've all got in common, it's an origins. So, John, for my faithful followers, please tell us your origin story.
I know that's a kind of wide question, isn't it? So you mean how I started comedy?
Well, let's start with, where were you born?
Where was I born? I'm looking at that light as if he would know. So I was
born.
As if
like that's your dad in the background, like, right, Dad, can you help me out here?
I was born in Bells Hill.
Yes, another Bells Hill
Maternity Hospital, right?
Right. So me and a previous guest were having a discussion about this. You know their flats now.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
I would really love to find out like what patch of land where I was born, and if it was in one of the houses, go into it and be like, see right there where you're eating your chicken dippers, Mama pushed me out of there.
God, do you mind if I recreate this scene for my YouTube channel?
I might get it.
Come in covered in kebab sauce and go,
That's a potentially good sketch. We can get Frank McGowan back on. Right, we've got a pilot idea. I know you've maybe just hired me, but yeah, I'm going to get fired now.
That'd be cool, man. We'll do that. So I was born there a while ago, about 10 years ago. And,
about 10 years ago? What?
Went to school.
Help the Jimmy Savile kind of things, are we?
So I think, comedy, I think I ended up doing it because I was probably the same as everybody else. Probably the reason why you do acting and stuff like that. It's insecurity, I think. And you need validation or something. Yeah. Because when I was at school, I had a lisp, right? So I had a lisp, I had a squint, I had asthma. I was very popular with the girls at that point. It was amazing.
It definitely sounds like you had the fanny flying.
Oh, everything, man. Then I get rid of that. Then I went to high school, get loads of acne. I was like a dartboard. It was amazing. And then, so I think I always wanted to do stand up from an early age, and I never knew. Probably like you were saying earlier, I never knew where to go, how to get involved in it. Yeah. Obviously, this kind of secret. It was like a secret. It was like coming out. Like, it's like
I think coming out was a bit easier at that time.
Probably, aye.
Like people would come out, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm game." We'd be like, "Aye, we all knew." But if you go, "I want to be an actor,"
aye.
Wait, what? Are you sure you've not thought of another form of employment? What about computers? The computers are taking off now.
I know. It's like going to your dad and I've got a big secret to tell you. And you want to tell him you want to do stand up. You go, well, I made some people laugh at school and fuck it, I'm gay. You know, just that kind of thing. You know, it'd be easier.
Definitely. I remember my dad finding my porn collection under my bed. And I was less embarrassed about that than saying to my dad, I need to borrow mum's makeup wipes from my panto. Well, so yeah.
So what I did, right, I started, I always wanted to do it, and I remember seeing in the Sunday Mail, because we were classy reading the Sunday Mail, and I seen a wee advert, and there was a woman called Viv G.
Yeah.
So you get her on your podcast, and Viv was running...
I think Viv is probably, if she has listened to this, she'll probably go, no thank you.
She will, Viv will do it. Viv will do it. Don't be yourself down. Right, so Viv was running a course in Strathclyde Uni. It was like a 6-week night class on stand-up. And I just seen that, and I always wanted to do stand-up, but I had no idea how to write material, where to go. And so I'd done the course for 6 weeks, had a great time, and done my first gig. So it was my kind of way, that was my door into it. And after that, you know, I started... I was probably shite for a few years. You start doing open mic gigs.
Yeah, I remember I've done a total of 2 open mics, and I died a painful death in both of them. Well, I was just like, you know what, maybe that's not for me.
Where did you do it?
I did one, and it was in a pub in Glasgow. One of my mates, John Toner, was organising it, and I was on the same bill as Gary Meikle.
Oh, right, cool.
So there was no way I was getting out of that life, because Gary is bloody hilarious. But I remember doing it, and I was like, it went all right for the people that were there. And then there was one that was in the Grange that was across in Coatbridge, just across from where I stayed. They were trying something different, so they got a couple of comedians out. Like I knew a couple of guys and put their names forward, and and it was a good night. But again, it was just they were expecting something different from what I was bringing. So it just didn't work.
See, I think you should do it again, because I think stand-up's one of these things that nobody goes on stage for the first time, and nobody goes on stage for the first time and goes, I'm either good at this or I'm not.
Yeah, I think that was maybe why it threw me, because as I said in previous podcasts, like when I first went onto the stage when I was young, I knew I was good. And I knew that I was good at what I was doing.
So it was acting stuff.
The acting and everybody said that I could sing. I didn't think I was a good singer, but apparently I was a better singer than I was an actor.
Cool.
According to them. But I felt like I belonged on the stage. I would go on, and it was like, you know how like you get like all the footballers and stuff like that, and they go on, they're like, oh, you're on my patch, because they think they're the ticket, and most of the time they are. That was me on stage. I was like, you're on my patch, and I know what I'm doing. But I was never like disrespectful. Like I knew you still have to learn, and you take everything on board. But if someone arsed up a line, I knew how to bail them out. If there was something that maybe went on, like a prop had been damaged or whatever, like I knew how to recover from that. The instinct, I knew it. It was fine. Whereas you put me in front of a computer, and I'm just like, can you turn it off and on again? I don't have a clue about anything like that. Like, that's the one place where I knew I belonged. But comedy is a totally different ballgame. And I think you don't respect it until you try it. And when I tried it, I was like, holy hell, I cannot do this. So I've got nothing but respect for comedians. And that's why I try and get so many of them on, because I feel that they need more respect. Like yourselves, like doing that type of work is brutal. Especially like what's the furthest you've travelled for a gig?
Australia.
Whoa, okay, you buried the lead there, right?
Then the moon. I went in the moon once.
The moon's all right.
Australia doing the festival. I done like a comedy festival in Melbourne and Perth.
Oh, nice.
I done Perth the start of 2020.
Was that just before COVID?
So I think I actually brought COVID into the country. So I think it was me. But
didn't it start in China or Japan?
But at the airport I was probably mingling with people. I probably licked somebody from China, and then I brought it into the country. So it was because it was January. It was like, so I was there in the end of January, February.
Yeah.
So I remember in Hong Kong airport there was loads of people asking, where have you been? And all that. Have you been in China? And I was like, no.
Yeah. Well, I've been in Australia.
So it was a bit weird.
What's it like over in Australia? Because I've never been, and I don't think I would probably ever be able to A, survive the flight, and B, survive the heat.
It was fine. See, the only problem going over 14 hours, I was stuck between two people. That was tough, but I don't mind that. I don't mind sitting watching movies or whatever. Yeah. It was hot. Perth was hot.
Yeah. It's one of those ones like with me with flights, like my ears don't pop like when descending, and just the pressure just builds up in my head. So it's like
You got a big giant head by the time you get there.
several times I thought my head was going to
Aye.
explode. Well, it's crazy. Well, it's like getting like the worst migraine times it by 100.
Aye.
But my wife had never seen it because we'd never been on a flight together until our honeymoon. And when the first time she saw it, like she said that afterwards. She was like, "I've got a real fright. I thought something bad was going to happen." To you. I was like, I burst my eardrums and everything from it.
I've never been that bad. I got a wee bit of deafness, a wee bit, but I just goes away. Jump up and down like that a wee bit.
Well, I had it usually get it for a couple of days and it's fine. But because the pain was so intense,
really?
And it was on the flight home, and I landed.
So
and I was
when
like,
was that?
This was me actually coming back from Paris. This
That's only an hour or something.
This was years ago with a previous psychopath. But yeah, so I was like, but my hearing wasn't sorting itself after like a couple of weeks, and I was working for the NHS at the time, and they went, look, they were trying to tell me things to do, but I couldn't hear them.
Right.
And they're like, so they took me around to the doctor, and they're like, just basically doing that kind of sign language. Took me in, and the guy was like, "You burst your eardrum," and I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Did you not feel it?"
Holy shit.
Well, and so I told him about what had happened, and I was like, "Is there anything that can stop that?" And they went, "No, you're stuck with it."
Aye.
I was like, "Thanks, man."
So your ears are dodgy now?
Yeah, my ears. Well, I'm generally dodgy, not in that way. Well, so I might as well just run with it.
No.
So Australia of all places to go to. How did you get in contact with that?
See, comedy, people say that, how do you get gigs and all that? It's just known. You do so many gigs, you get to know different promoters, just get to know different people that run gigs. So basically, I know like a guy that runs gigs in Edinburgh who knows the guy that runs some of the gigs in Australia, and he says, contact that guy who I met before, and then he gave me like a venue and a gig and stuff like that. And then there's a festival, the Perth Comedy Festival, so you put in that. And get yourself the brochure and stuff.
What was kind of like the biggest kind of lessons that you learned, like doing like the comedy courses and stuff like that, and kind of?
Well, you know what the comedy courses, I run a course as well. That's me plugging that in, all right.
No, it's not sell by the fire away. So
the biggest thing, when I do my course, I learned a lot from Viv, and it was basically getting started. And I think even when I do my course, I kind of say to them, right, I've got 6 weeks with you. Like, I can learn you basics, but you don't really learn until you're out there doing shitholes. Now, you're out there doing a gig where nobody's listening and you've got to grab their attention. You're out there doing gigs where it's just chaos, it's mental, and you're scared, and you feel as if you're going to get battered.
So it's kind of like passing, once you pass your driving test, they say that's when the real begins.
Aye. Because when I passed my driving test, it took me about 2 years to actually learn to really reverse park.
Yeah.
I remember driving up to parking spaces and I go, nah, it's too wee. And if somebody behind me, I'd panic and drive around the block and go, fuck it, I'll just park it again.
For me, it was going to the shops. Well, I done that. I was like, I knew they taught you how to do like, a reverse park, parallel parking, like 3-point turn, all that. Never taught you what to judge if you can fit into a car parking space at your local Asda.
Aye.
Well, and I remember trying to do that for the first time and like, how the hell did I do this, man? Well, it was crazy.
And I think my first car, I was about 20 minutes at the petrol station trying to work out how to open the petrol cap.
Yeah,
panicking.
What was your first car?
I was a shithole. A579 PSU. That was a Reggie.
Wow.
It was 350 quid. I bought it with a student loan, and I think it lasted about 3 weeks. It was a Ford Fiesta, and I was wondering why the exhaust was brown. It's got a nice brown exhaust. It's just basically rust.
It's
just as brown. I was like, that's quite cool, like a furry exhaust.
A furry exhaust.
I thought it was like a coat or something. It's just brown as fuck. And it didn't. And the handbrake didn't work.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I got to learn how to use my biting point.
Yeah.
Because I got to a set of traffic lights, put the handbrake on, start taking back the way.
Oh no!
Like, holy shit! So I got good at that quite quick.
Yeah, my dad's first car was a Morris Minor, and he always said it was like the Flintstones because there was just holes in the the driver and the passenger seat, and there was like, I think we're gonna have to actually walk this home.
Aye.
Oh my god!
And I remember I was in the car going along a motorway with one of my mates in this car, and I hit 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And the car started rattling.
So
these noises, just hundreds of noises.
So was it kind of like Back to the Future?
Aye, so I thought I was going to end up in 1982. And then my mate in the back started laughing his head off. And I was like, what are you laughing at? And I says, imagine you get caught speeding in this thing. Nobody would believe you.
Oh,
Because this
my
is
God.
getting up to the speed limit. It's going like that.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Aye.
So what got you into like teaching about comedy? What, when you like doing like your course in stand up? So first of all, where is it?
Oh, well, it used to be in Yes Bar, but that's shut down. So I'm kind of looking for a new vet. I'm going to do one in March.
Oh,
I
nice.
think so this is going out in January, he says, so March.
Yeah, the illusion's been well and truly spoiled by now. So yeah,
Sorry. So I've just found a bar in Glasgow somewhere. So I'm looking, because it used to be Yes Bar. I used to
Yeah.
run regular gigs, but that's shut down now. So
oh man,
so I need to find somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll do it again. So I've not done it for a few years, obviously, because of the lockdown and stuff.
yeah. And what specifically drove you to wanting to kind of teach the basics to people?
I like it. No, what it is, I think, like, see, when I was watching you earlier, you're just putting yourself out there, doing your podcast and all that. I think that's brilliant, and if I can encourage people just to do that shit, and I was like, I just love people getting them on the stage for the first time. And seeing them shitting themselves before it. And I don't get the buzz out of like, yes, he's shitting himself.
Well, I've got some
Yes.
spare nappies for my kids to
No,
borrow.
no, but I just love people kind of overcoming their fears.
Yeah,
So, look, I remember one guy, it was an older guy, maybe about 50 or 60, mid-50s, done it, and he only ever wanted to do one gig because it was a on his bucket list. And he went on, he'd done my course for 6 weeks, and it was all right. He'd done his one gig, and he went, that was it. And I was so chuffed. He came up and gave me a big hug after it, and I went, brilliant, thanks. I says, you want to do more gigs? I went, nah, that's it, ticked. And he was so happy, and I was like, yes, that's why I do it. And just getting people out of their comfort zone, and I think that's so cool.
yeah,
You know, just encouraging people to do something
Yeah.
that they might have thought, I can't do that, and I just fucking do it.
yeah. That sounds really good,
Aye,
man.
and I just like that. So it kind of became like a personal development thing as well.
yeah.
You know, just,
Because you find that like doing something like that, like helping others, like it feels good to do good. I know it's
Aye.
an old saying, but it's old because it's true.
aye.
Well, I always find it's like when somebody says like, "Oh, I've never been on a podcast before," for
Aye.
example, and I'm like, "Well, I want to make it as good an experience for them as I
Aye.
can." I always make sure it's all focused on the guest and
Aye.
and if they're feeling comfortable. And
I'm so comfortable.
yes, I'm so
I
comfortable.
wanted to sit on the couch right enough. But I've got a
The only
solid chair.
downside is like because we were struggling with the heights of the chairs beforehand. If you sat in that couch, you would go down, you
Aye,
wouldn't come
I
back out.
know.
It's a very
Aye.
comfy couch. Like
Aye.
if I take off my missus enough, I may end up crashing here.
I know some of the guys were saying that the day crash, they were saying like they get pissed and they go, and they can't afford a taxi, they'll just come back here and sleep here,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
I think that's going to be the new tagline. Scuff Studios, get pissed and crash here.
Aye. And you get on Airbnb,
I think you could.
20 quid a night.
Yeah. Well, I think you'd be able to hire it out. Well, I think I'll be, like I said, and Mrs. Ticks me off, I'll end up crashing.
Aye.
So what about like yourself for the stand-up gigs? Well, I've seen you've had quite a few, like at the time of this recording, you've had quite a few different places.
Aye.
So what's the plan for 2022 with you for gigging?
I'm kind of it was good getting back this year. I was doing the festival this year in August, and I was doing 3
Oh,
a
did you
day.
do the Fringe?
Aye, I do it
Oh,
every year.
nice one.
The Fringe is amazing.
How'd you go about doing that? I've never done the Fringe, mainly because like my dad works in Edinburgh, he's painter and decorator, and he fucking hates all the traffic and stuff
man.
that comes with it. So she's like, fucking Fringe. I don't know. So I've heard this rant for basically all my life.
Aye.
But I do love going to the Fringe, and I
It's
admire
amazing.
everybody that can do it. And I've got loads of people that do it, and when I say to them, I've never been to the Fringe, it's like their jaws just hit the floor.
That annoys me, like people from Glasgow, and that was like, because it's like one of the biggest kind of arts festival in the world, and you get people from Glasgow. Have you ever done the Fringe? I went, nah. And I thought, why?
Yeah.
I don't know if they think it's a snobby thing. It's not. You get scumbags like me doing it, and
Mine was more like, trying to figure out time, budget, all that kind of stuff.
oh,
I
do you
was
mean
like,
actually performing there?
yeah, well, there's no way.
Well-
I love going to the Fringe. I love seeing everything that goes on there. Like the buzz about
Aye.
it is something good. Like you don't get me wrong, you get so many flyers that I'm surprised that COP26 didn't happen in Edinburgh,
Aye.
and Greta Thunberg would have been like, stop all these flyers. Well, but I've always got respect for people that can just go and get it booked and get it sorted.
It's
Because
easy.
I've never had that confidence to do it. I tried once.
So what
looking
did
at-
you do then?
I was wanting to take my when I had my theatre company, I wanted to take my show to the Fringe.
Aye.
And it was just, there were so many like different people putting in like, oh, you should you need to answer it this way, or you need to do it this way, or it won't get picked, and you need to have,
bollocks, man.
you need to have this amount of money if you want this this type of venue. You
let's
need
see-
to do
let's
this, you
see
need to
the-
do that, and I was like, my brain just exploded. I was
Right,
like,
so I've sussed it out. I do it with there's a PBH Free Fringe. Right, I do it with every year, and they charge you nothing.
right,
So they're the kind of company. So it works brilliant, right? Because a lot of big companies, they charge a fortune. So you might be paying £100 a day for a room, right? You know, for an hour for a room in a shitty pub, and it's cost a fortune. So there's guys here, like I've spoke to guys who've had a good run in Edinburgh, and they'll say like, how did you do? And they went, I was only down £2,000 or something like that. So I had a good run. It was that bollocks. So I've done the PBH Free Fringe. It cost me nothing. Look, all I pay for is flyers if I get any. To get in the brochure, which is about £300-400, which I haven't been in the last few years. And
Yeah.
and
I always noticed
so what he
those
does
are
is
quite
free.
small. They're like usually about that size.
Aye, so it's free to get in. It's free. So the venue are getting people coming in buying beer. We're getting to do the show, and then at the end they do a collection. So
Yeah.
it's basically like busking.
Oh,
and
right.
I'm in profit the first weekend doing that.
Nice.
And I'm getting good crowds in. I'm getting people that come and see me every year. It's brilliant, and it's good for people that can't afford the big productions and all that.
Yeah.
Because you go to some of the big kind of promoters there, and you can lose a fortune. They'll make a fortune, but the comedians will lose a fortune, and it means people that are be working class who've got the talent can't afford to do it.
Yeah.
But now the free stuff's brilliant. So even if you wanted to do like a play there, approach them. They do. It's not just stand up. They do theatre stuff.
I think my time doing the plays in the theatres maybe passed, but could maybe do a live show there one time at the Fringe. Like
Why
just
not? I could do
get the guys up and go be like, yep, right, we're going to take the piss out of this.
Aye. Why not? Why
That
not?
could always be a good laugh. Well, so you did mention like obviously people like they can be down in profit and stuff like that. And one of the things I've always wanted to know about, like, you hear all the stories about like when the comedians are travelling and stuff like that. You know, like they could be like in like Newcastle one day, and they could be going up to the Isle of Man another day. What's it like kind of doing like the? Have you ever done like the kind of road life tour and like going from here, there and everywhere?
A wee bit. I'm trying to do more of that. Right, I travel about. I was in Elgin a few weeks ago. So so Elgin, round about Scotland. I've been in Germany and all that, doing some gigs.
Yeah.
But next year I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to do more solo stuff. So that's how I'm like trying to build up my social media and all that. So I've got a few solo shows, not next year, but this year, because this is January, innit? This is January. Christmas
January.
is great, innit? Christmas is great this year.
That Christmas where we had all the alien invaders, that was brilliant.
I know. So we're officially the only survivors left.
Yeah.
After the alien invasion.
Cockroaches, Twinkies and us.
Aye.
We made it.
Aye. So I'm kind of putting myself a wee tour together now. Just organising myself, getting venues, booking them, trying to sell tickets.
Oh, nice.
So
So how you find that? Well, obviously for like the social media kind of side of it.
see, I'm learning that. That's why I do well at the Edinburgh Festival because they've got people are there to see comedy.
Yeah.
I get booked to a lot of gigs, which is fine because they're there. They've got an audience. So I'm in the process now of learning how to do social media because there's guys out there used to like Gary Meikle, Gary Falls, and the guy you had on earlier.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Stuart Hay.
Yeah, he's doing quite well online.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to learn for these guys. So I think I've got the skills on stage to make a room full of people laugh. But it's just learning the social media shit so that I can get more people in.
Yeah, and Gary Falls is a really good comedian.
Great.
He does well.
And they've just him and Gary Meikle in particular. They've got like hundreds of thousands of followers, and they're just selling out huge venues.
I know
it's mental.
Yeah, they're doing brilliantly. And let's say Gary Meikle won't have a clue that I ever shared this scrape of stage room, but at least I can say it. And I was on the stage.
And how does Gary Meikle only became quite big in the last year, maybe 2 years?
It was when he done the viral video about
the eyebrows.
The eyebrows, yeah. Well, because I remember seeing that, and I'm like, I know him.
But the thing is, that you're doing your podcast now, and how many subscribers have you got at this moment?
Well, at the time of recording, 600 odds.
But all it takes is like one clip or one guest you got on. You might get a guest on that you didn't expect you were going to get, and then all of a sudden you're thousands of followers, and it's just putting stuff out there. So I think a lot of people say about Gary Meikle. You sometimes get a bit of jealousy going, "Oh, he's viral and all that," but people say it was pure luck. But the thing is, Gary's put loads of stuff out.
Yeah.
So you maybe get loads of videos out there you've never seen that's got like 10 views that he's put out.
Yeah.
And then just because he's consistently doing stuff, one of them hits.
Yeah.
It goes crazy, and it just once people see that, they go, "Oh, let's go and watch his other stuff."
Yeah, he's worked hard for it.
Aye.
He really has. Like the type of venues that he was playing in, there was maybe only like half a dozen people, and he was still putting in the same energy and the same type of content that he's got to the thousands and thousands of followers that he's got now. So we are coming up on time a little bit, because
Holy shit, that was quick, wasn't it?
that's what she said.
Great.
So I will ask you the same thing that I ask all my guests to round off. If you could give one piece of advice to anybody that's struggling with mental health issues at this point in time, what would that piece of advice be and why?
See, I was thinking like a few things, because I was watching your podcast before with Frank. I was going, he's got questions for me. He's asked me for advice.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a few, right? Running, right? Like, I know a wee bit belly there, but things like, see when I start going a wee bit mental, the first thing I do is go running. I'll do some exercise.
Yeah.
And I just feel better. I just feel better. It takes a few days, but I know that if I want to clear my head. So I think years ago, maybe if I was feeling a bit shit, I'd go drinking, and it kind of masks it, but the next day you go, fuck, I'm worse. Yeah. And other things, like I'm into like visualisation and shit like that. And I was thinking in the toilet with this guy earlier. Well, I was there in the toilet.
I'm thinking in the toilet with a guy.
But one of the things I do,
visualising.
Like, I'm into like NLP and stuff like that. I swear, me and him were in the toilet visualising each other, right?
Well, was it back? There's only one cubicle.
And so because usually a lot of the times you feel bad, you're thinking negative thoughts about yourself or whatever, you're kind of going, oh, I'm shite, I'm a piece of shit. So I like to, because sometimes you think back, you go, oh fuck, I done that, I fucked up, I'm in debt because of that, and you think of that relationship you fucked up, you look back. But I like this idea, right? And I use this sometimes. I like to kind of think, like, imagine like I've just woke up, right? And I don't know if I heard this somewhere or I made it up. Imagine I just woke up and I'm in a game. I'm in like I'm in a virtual reality game.
Yeah.
So I'm some kind of alien, right? And I'm in a virtual reality game, and I've just been put on Earth now. So if you're ever feeling like shit, things are going top, you go, right, you've just started your game. You're in a virtual reality game. Relationship status there, financial status there, comedy status there. So here's all your stats in your game. And now go and play the game. So as if you're just starting, like, so it's like going into like Grand Theft Auto and go, right, here's your stats, here's what you've got, here's your financial here's your fitness, here's your health. Now go out and play the best fucking game you've got from that point.
That's a really good.
So
I've never actually thought of that before.
So I've got a mad imagination. So here's just even things like, here's your self-esteem level. So you get into a game, right? You've got a self-esteem 1 out of 10. You've got like a self-image of fuck all. You go, right, you're the game, so it's now your job to get all these levels up. Go out and play the game. And I love using your imagination. And it works.
I definitely send that on to Frank. I think that would be a good idea for like a sketch. I know it's very kind of like the film Free Guy, like Ryan Reynolds kind of thing, but imagine a Scottish version of that where you go like, it was like pished status nominal, or like stone status marginal, and you're just working on either bringing your come down or your come up or whatever. That's that would be really, that's a really good idea.
And I think these things, that's things that I need to do videos on. And there's another one I do, right? I get excited talking about these things because when I'm in a bad state, I forget about these things, but then I start remembering, oh fuck, that works. There's a thing I do.
It's on video now, so that way you can always remember it.
So there's a thing I do sometimes where if I'm feeling a bit low, I'll can I imagine just in front of me, there's like a version of me that's happy as fuck, is full of energy. Yeah. He's maybe like he's got all the resources of doing what he has to do. And you imagine seeing him in front of you, and like you see the energy. You imagine like an energy coming through him. Yeah. And you kind of go, right, he's got everything. He's got the charisma. He's got all that. And you just kind of do a thing where you just step into it, and you just start feeling the feelings. And you go, fucking hell, and it works. It's your imagination's mental, and it kind of works.
I think that's something that's great for like performance kind of guys, because our imaginations are always off the chain. With something or other. Don't get me wrong. Some of them have got to get to use other substances to get to that higher plane of existence, but I always find it's better when you're not stoned or anything. You come up with this stuff because you're like, that's what imagine what you'd be like if you were high.
And I do that. If I'm feeling a bit low before I go on stage, I do it as well. So I imagine, I'll remember a gig where I was on good form. I'll visualise the audience. I'll imagine hearing what I hear, seeing what I hear, and I'll imagine that buzz in my body, and I'll start feeling it, turning the volume up. And then before I go on stage, I'm like that, fucking, I get in the right mood. And Steve Martin, apparently, like, you know, Steve Martin was a bit mental, he was a bit hyper.
Yeah.
He used to put, I read his book, Born Standing Up, it's worth reading, and he used to put raw fish in his shoes before he went on stage, shows he would feel silly.
Yeah.
So he was like a room full of people, because he had fish in his fucking shoes, he couldn't be serious. He couldn't go, I've got fish in my shoes here. So if I used to get fish down my pants, I've got a lot of fish.
I would be like, right, the next question, what cod, haddock?
Salmon.
Salmon. Oh, well, it has to be. Yeah.
It's biting it.
It has to be a red salmon. Like, only the
I
best.
don't even like fish.
Only the best for a guest.
Aye.
Oh man, I've never actually thought of things like that before.
That's what goes on in my head, mate. That's what goes on in my head all the time.
We gotta get that stuff kind of scooped out, and you should make that into your. You plan on doing like your own kind of podcast or anything like that?
Aye, see, I'd like to. Aye, so I've done a few Zoom ones.
Yeah.
But I've probably been inspired a wee bit with you doing it, and I was like, I could probably come in and do a day with these guys and just do it once a month as well.
Why not?
Aye, because I see guys doing it. I was like, because I'm thinking of ways of getting myself out there. So doing videos online, I don't do enough of them. And podcasts is huge.
Yeah.
You get guy James English in Scotland's kicking it big.
Aye,
He's
I've seen that,
he's huge followings now. So it only takes getting out there and doing it.
Yeah. No, well, I wish you nothing but luck, man. Like, if you need any advice,
totally.
Not that I've got much to give, but if you need anything, just give me a shout, give the guys, Scuff Studios a shout, because they're good. Just don't steal them for me. I still want to have them around.
Borrow them, can I hire them?
You can hire them, but they charge their own rates. Because I've got to pay them.
I'll bring them a slice of fish each.
Well, just make sure.
There's your
that's the clip to promote the show. I'll buy him a slice of fish, not knowing the context at all.
So come to one of my shows next year and you'll get a free slice of fish for every ticket.
Oh man, it has to, just make sure it's a soul. It really just ties in with the theme.
A bit of batter on it.
So now we come to the comedian's most loathed segment, and that is Ask Andrew Anything, which is after how many minutes we've been on, Ross? 28 minutes, roughly. That's no bad considering.
Right.
Well, we get the guest to ask me a question. It could go very well. It could go very badly, but that is all part of the fun.
Right, good. See, I was in the toilet with him earlier. I was thinking of my headset thing. And so what I'm going to do now, because I can't think of a question, so so I'm in my headset, right, questionless. So, aye, let me see. Right, so, there we go. If you were given this virtual reality headset right now, and so if I gave you one of these, what I was talking about earlier, and you're just starting the game at this moment, so you're a gamer and you've just been put into Andrew's character or whatever, right?
Avatar or something.
So you just been put in your own avatar and you're starting from now, but all your levels are where they are, whatever, I don't know where they are. So all your levels are where they are. Right, what do you do now? Right. If it's a game and all the things in your past, all your kind of memories, your insecurities are just part of the game, and you don't take them seriously. So what do you do?
Well, first thing I would need to find out what system I was on. If I was PC, and I don't. And the other thing is, I don't game. So I don't have a clue.
I've got
an imagination, but I would be like, right, my PlayStation or my PC. I think I'd be a PC gaming kind of guy.
Right.
I think that would be me, because my brother was a PC guy. He played like Command and Conquer and all that stuff when it came.
But this is like alien technology. We can't describe.
Well, there was aliens in there. There was if you unlock something, you got attacked by giant ants. Right. So that always worked out. But I think one of the things that I would do, I would instantly, I would be working to level up the podcast.
Right.
I would be, but that's not me saying that I'm firing the guys. They'd be coming with me, and I'd be leveling them up too. The team would be coming with me. We'd be trying new things. We'd be trying different ways to get ourselves out there and get promoted. We'd probably lose a couple of lives on the way, but we would do that. So I'd hire like a couple of other guys that say they're going to help out and don't, and we'd use them as cannon fodder,
Right.
so we could take their lives and boost ourselves up. I would.
He's killing people now.
Hey, you said I could do whatever I want. This game, there's a reason Deadpool's there.
Right.
So what I would be pushing to try and get the odd big guest. Not like I wouldn't want ones that were like huge because there's every chance that they could be so overpowering that they blow us all up like a nuclear bomb. But I would like to get the ones to kind of what I'm doing now and start building them up as well. So when they start increasing their levels, they can come back and help us boost our levels if there's ever a drop. Well, I would definitely increase my wife's emotional status to a bit higher so I could feel more loved.
I love you, mate. I love you.
I love you too, man. I say that was what Geraldine said when she came on. She said actors do all these type of things, performers do things because they feel broken. And I was like, yep, that's me. I was like, it's not that I wasn't loved when I was a kid. I'm just so egocentric that love isn't enough. Just give me more. But I would instantly level up my kids to adults so I wouldn't need to worry about them.
Did they miss out their childhood? You're sick in the head, man.
Well, you said it could be any game that I wanted. So I would level them up. But,
cool.
So they would be ready to roll for life. And that way I could be like, they could come with me to the podcast. We could do stuff together. I could essentially put them in child labour. But they could get away with that in another year because apparently they used to send 4-year-olds up back in the chimney sweep days. So
they're getting jobs as chimney sweeps again.
Yep. So they've only got 4 months to go, and then I'm going to put them up the chimneys.
Good on you. Man.
And it's twins. I can charge double.
Aye.
What else? I don't think I would upgrade my house in any way, any the comforts and stuff. I like where I am. I would maybe how you'd have buy options sometimes if you earn enough. So I would get myself a ready built shed. So that way, that was my man cave, my podcast studio. So I wouldn't need to keep doing it in the dining room. I do love the dining room because
is this the dining room we're in?
I do love the dining room because anytime that I go on, we've always seemed to have done a washing. And it's always the boys' pajamas that in the washing. So every time I look back in previous episodes, I try and guess what washing is on that radiator. I'm like, you don't fit those jammies anymore.
That was the day we were cute.
I was like, that's my wife's knickers. I'm so fucked. Kind of way. That's my boxers. There's no stains on them. That's not bad. So I don't think I would. That would be more like you say. I'd want to level up those around me. And I think that just sums up my nature because I'm quite selfless. I would rather build everybody up around me, and help them.
I agree with that.
Because that helps my self-esteem and it would naturally build me up. Because I love seeing people that I've maybe said, right, why don't you try this or do that? And they start doing things and they do well. And that gives me a sense of pride. Essentially, it's the traits for being a dad. As much as a joke, I would level up my kids. I love seeing the way they are now. I love seeing them grow and develop. Even when they're being absolute arseholes, which they can be because they're kids. But I love seeing those personality traits coming out in them and they're becoming people. And that's down to, I'd say that's more down to Alison than anything else because she's around them more. It's just the percentage of time. Because I'm in my day job and I don't get to spend as much time with them as I would want to because I love spending time with my kids. And I never used to. When I wasn't well, I was terrified of being around them. I know it's kind of taking the tone down a bit, but I'm always upfront about it. I thought I was a shit dad for the majority of their lives. I thought I was never going to be a good dad. I was never going to be good enough for them. And it wasn't a daily thought. It was a minute by minute thought, and it was just constant. What this voice it was an actual voice in my head.
That guy's a dick, isn't he?
I just constantly there, but it was like up to the nth degree. Just constantly you're going to be a failure. You're a failure as a person. You're going to you should just kill yourself. You can't even kill yourself, right? Because you didn't even do it. Wow, all that kind of stuff. One of my mates in my work gave him my name. Said, anytime I'm talking to you in those bad places, I'll just be like, all right, Jason, how you doing?
But that guy, the big
that guy.
The other thing I do, with the voice, we've all got them right. Some people watch another right. So there's another imagination thing that fucking works, right? So imagine the voice in your head, right? I don't know how you imagine it. Maybe it's there because you were doing that as if it's there.
He's there.
It's loud, so it's like a loud voice. And so what I do is
it's like when I'm not well. He's really loud when he's.
So was he like a monster?
Well, he's a Mexican. He's a Mexican.
Racist. Is he a Mexican? He's like
genuinely like Mexican, like but proper racial stereotype. Like he's got the tash, the sombrero.
he's a pure evil kind of.
Like evil, like cartel Mexican. Like, and I know that sounds really racist and bad. But I can't.
Welcome to the Ginger right wing podcast.
It's like I can't help.
I know what you mean.
What
I know
formed in my head. I can't.
I know. No. So we've all got that. Imagination is good, but
it's not good when I'm saying all Mexicans are evil, because they're not. I love them. Oh my god.
So what I like to do. So imagine that you're a Mexican guy. So imagine like I mean, you've got the voice in your head. He's dead loud, and it works. This shit works.
Yeah. The
so
best part is like, he's Mexican, but he speaks Scottish. Broad Scottish.
Right. So imagine you take this guy out. Like imagine he comes out, like he's a big guy or something like that, and you shrink him down and he's sitting on the table and give him a squeaky voice. So imagine he's one of these guys, right? Imagine he's that wee guy. and give him like a Mickey Mouse voice and he's saying the same things. You go, you're a piece of shit, you're rubbish. And you just don't take him seriously. No. And what you can do is if it gets too shit, just ping him away in your head. And it works. And I do that with people that, do you ever get people that drive you mental? You ever get people in your life that people
I am the person that drives me mental.
So I can imagine shrinking them down into a wee insignificant arsehole in this head and just going like that. Fuck off, just pinging them away. And it sounds ridiculous, but it actually works.
It actually sounds really, like for creatives like us, that sounds good. Like quote unquote normies would be like, what the fuck? But for me, that makes total sense.
And another thing I do, sorry, I'm going to get my. What I do is see if I'm out and I'm feeling like shit. When that guy's in your head, go through the alphabet, right? So this is a thing I do. I mean, and you can only think about one or two things at the same time. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
So if you've got that guy in your head giving you shit, the fucking Mexican, right?
Want to clarify? I love Mexican food.
Build a wall.
I really is what you're saying that like to block him in. Like most people would say like, you know, if that negative voice in your head is to build a wall and block him out. I can't do that because it'll be total Trump.
So imagine like so I get through the alphabet and say if I'm out walking, if I'm feeling a bit shitty, I'll go out walking and I'll go through the alphabet and for every name of the alphabet, every letter of the alphabet, I think he's somebody in my life. It could be my past, a celebrity, somebody that I like. And so you go A, you go to an Alan or something like that. You imagine somebody you know called Alan and you imagine interacting with them and the good experience you had with them. Then you go to B, you go, oh, there's that guy I used to go to school with. We used to have a good laugh. You go through that and you just go through the alphabet. And when you're doing that, that Mexican's like, let me in. And you kind of get in because you're... So that's some of the wee things I do.
No, definitely.
And that fucking works, man.
Definitely good advice. For any listeners, I think he's just stole my job. John, you've been an absolute blast having you on, man.
It's a pleasure, man.
Thank you so much. And once you get like your podcast and stuff set up, let me know and we'll get them plugged as best we can.
Cool, man.
So until next time, my faithful followers, I've been Andrew Durnan. This has been the bloody hilarious and imaginative John O'Brien or
Obie. Who's this John O'Brien?
If I keep saying Obie and we've been talking about Mexicans and building walls, I think I'm I'm going straight to hell. But until next time, my faithful followers, take care, stay safe, bye bye.